question. How easy is it for you to set up a business in this country? How long of a process do you have to go through? Do you have to go to a particular building? How long of a queue do you have to be in? Because of the queue, do you have to go at a particular time? Do appointments really work? Or you can just sit in the comfort of your home, use technology, and get it started. What tools can you use to help yourself set up a perfect business and be able to function very, very well, efficiently, without all the hustle of trying to get it off the ground? This is what we're talking about today on Enabled by Tech. My name is Tia. Welcome to this very, very exciting episode. I'm very, very excited. First of all, one, because of the guests. And secondly, because a lot of people out there are running illegal businesses. You people don't pay taxes. You don't even know if what you're doing is legal. You don't know if it is supposed to be under a particular union or an agency. You've just started your thrift shop and then you are running it all by yourself and you are making money. Have you registered your business? I'm sorry. Welcome to the show. My name is Tia. Here with the man as always.
I'm Ben.
What's up, bro?
I'm good, bro. Yourself?
Charlie, you're looking all... They give Steve Jobs from the army vibe with the army green turtleneck.
Not my usual stuff, but I'm kind of feeling.
Yeah, how you feeling good?
I'm really feeling this,
so are you? Quick shout out to Voskos. I just want to say he's been styling us.
Yeah.
And are you going?
Big shout out.
Are you going turtleneck?
I'm leaning more towards this now. I didn't really like. I don't like really slim fitting clothes, but this is changing my perspective.
It's making you feel some kind of way.
Totally loving it. Yeah.
Maybe they need to go lash you. We'll see what. All right, so let's get straight into it. If this is your first time joining us, please welcome. This is Enabled by Tech. We basically talk about technology and how it applies to everyday life and industries, and how best we can, to the best of our knowledge, explain some of these things and help you figure it out. We are just a bunch of young people that love tech and want to impart it to any and everyone that loves it as well or wants to get into it. I think this is my first time starting the show without my glasses. It feels a bit weird. Is it okay now? Yeah. We are back to normal. Right, so let me introduce my guest. Okay. He calls himself... Okay, let me let him do it and explain to you exactly why he calls himself that. Welcome, Eldad. How you doing, bro?
I'm good.
Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Excited
to be here.
How has your day been? Because I know you get very busy.
Yeah.
Just run me through how your day has been.
I woke up, car wash, did a little bit of work, went to a wedding, went back home, took a shower, changed, came back here.
That's wild.
So that's been my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have a packed weekend all the way till Monday. So
we'll be fine.
Yeah, Charlie.
We'll be fine.
Okay.
So yes, how do you describe yourself? And tell us why you call yourself that.
I typically call myself a curious cat. That used to be like the thing that I would say all the time. Now I've added the word entrepreneur. But a curious cat because I have a lot of interests.
Okay.
I've always been curious about the world, and I've always traversed anywhere I could read anything that I can understand. So from, I don't know, economics, theology, science, math, business, philosophy. Like I'm always learning.
You're deep.
Which field has been your favorite so far? That you find yourself always intrigued about? I
think it's seasonal. So right now it's philosophy. Specifically Eastern philosophy.
Do you want to share something? Throw some knowledge on us.
Yeah. Biggest thing is, so the theory is that the human person, like you're a machine, right? Like the human body is such a complex machine. The way your mind works, the way your emotions work, the way the bits and pieces put together. Now, I think we've done a great job as an understanding the biology, right? So you have doctors that can tell you this is how your heart connects to your lungs and this is what happens. But I think when it comes to the mind and emotion, we are not well educated on that. So most people don't have the ability to control their mind, to control their emotions, and they don't know what's happening, right? And I think that's what Eastern philosophy does. It really puts you in a spot where it's teaching you practices that allows you to almost observe how your mind works and then be able to work with your mind and be able to like work through different situations. So that's why it's very interesting to me. And as somebody trying to build a business and I'm in between a lot of things, one of the things I've really been in love with is this idea of state shifts, right?
Mhm.
How long does it take you to go from angry to okay?
Mm.
If somebody pisses you off today, like, is your day gone because like somebody annoyed you like in
Right.
traffic, right?
Right.
And for me, that has been really crucial because you encounter a lot of unforeseen circumstances, right? Somebody pisses you off, a client cancels, a team member, delays. And as the leader who's running the business, you need to stay clear to be able to make decisions, right? So how quickly are you able to reset when an undesirable emotion pops up to getting back to baseline so you can be productive? So that's something I've really been,
It's very
nerding on
interesting.
about.
Very.
Yeah,
Very,
because
very
the thing
interesting.
is, like, I don't think people think about it, but your entire day is a series of state shifts.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up in a mood, then you're in a particular state, right?
Mhm.
Somebody does something, puts you in a different state. You
Yeah.
get to the office, your boss says something, puts you in a different state.
Yeah.
A project goes badly, puts you in a different state. So in a day, you cycle through multiple states.
Yeah.
But the problem is most people aren't aware. So the only tool they have is time.
Mhm.
So somebody can be angry at 8 a.m. If time no pass, like they are still angry.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if they have something to do, then they're
It
angry
messes
forever.
up. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So is that ability to go like, this is what's happening right now. Do I want to be in this state? Yes, no. If not, how do I shift my state to the next place and then be able to like get to the thing I need to do next?
And
So
is
if you
there a specific term for that in the philosophy you're studying?
they might call it mindfulness, but
Mm.
I came up with the term state shifts because I didn't find anything that described that.
Okay.
Mindfulness is more just being aware of what's happening.
Right.
All right. All right.
And not being caught up, in the emotion of it. It's almost like you need to be able to detach and see what's happening, right? And then be able to react. But I haven't heard, I think maybe Tony Robbins is the first person I've heard say something similar, just about changing your states.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, there's no specific word for it. But that's
Haven't heard
something
it yet.
I'm nerding out about right now because, yeah,
And it's quite interesting.
I can see how interesting and passionate you were when you started talking about it.
yeah, because
It's
I think like, so I'm a productivity nerd, right?
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us, we hear about productivity all the time and we try different things. We make the to-do list. But at the end of the day, your energy is the most important thing, right?
Right.
And your states are the most important thing. So you can have all the apps, you can make all the lists, you can eat all the right foods, and you can do all the things he asks you to do. Go to the gym, morning routine. But if you don't have control over your emotions and being able to move from one state to the other, I don't think you can be productive. So
Yeah.
within the same
Yeah.
24-hour time span, somebody who is in better control of themselves can get more done
There's
with
a
the
man
same
who's
amount
not-
of resources than somebody who, yeah. So that's, I nerd out about that a lot, philosophy, that kind of stuff.
really dope. I'm probably gonna share some of your resources with me.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll do,
definitely
definitely.
want to get into that.
I mean,
Right. So I know for a fact that you find yourself in a lot of projects.
yeah.
Over a long period of time, you hop from project to project to
Mhm.
project. Sometimes multiple projects at a time.
Mhm.
Sometimes there are entire ideas that have to turn into businesses.
Mhm.
Let's start from the idea
Mhm.
to trying to even get the idea off the ground.
Yeah.
What does one have to do, and coming from like a personal experience,
Yeah.
and how you've been able to fine tune it over the years to get it
Mhm.
very, very efficient?
At Sumundi DevShop, we build custom software tailored to your needs, scalable, efficient, and designed for growth. Whether you need enterprise applications, management systems, or integrations with third-party platforms, we deliver solutions that work seamlessly. We also specialize in legacy software repairs, performance optimizations, and code-based improvements. Whether it's a simple website or a robust enterprise solution, we are your trusted technology partner. Let's build something great together. Contact us on our website at www.sumundidevshop.com.
Okay. So I think the first thing is we need to define what an idea is, right? Everybody throws the word, this is an idea, but like what actually is an idea?
Right.
I think there's wishful thinking and there are ideas.
Right.
Wishful
Okay.
thinking is, it would be nice if this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think this would be cool. Or I
Mhm.
wish that would happen, right? But I think an idea is a well thought through hypothesis about the world
Mm-hmm.
or a domain or something, right? So let's say the shirt you're wearing or the clothes everybody's wearing in the studio,
Right.
right? I can look at all that, think about it, and through my observation go like, I wonder what will happen if this is made in a different material. Is
Mhm.
everybody comfortable, right? So when people say they have ideas a lot of the time, they have a wishful thought about the world. They just like, it would be nice to maybe have food come to my door. That's not an idea. That's like a wishful thought, right?
But sometimes that's where it starts, no?
Yes, sometimes that's where it starts. But if you understand that that's where it starts, then you're okay.
Okay.
Because I think most people just end over there. So somebody walk up to you, have a dope idea. Go, oh, tell me about it. They'll go like, oh, maybe it'd be cool to just have somebody mention your name and then you hear it. Like, they will tell you something very flimsy, right? There's no carefully thought through hypothesis about like, oh, I think A, therefore B, and if we do C, then we can get D, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been pushing a lot more people to like, when they say I have an idea, it's not just a wishful thought.
Mm-hmm.
Actually
Think through it
think through the thing, right?
and plan.
And typically ideas exist to either minimize pain or maximize pleasure. Like all ideas in the world. They're either helping you solve a problem or they are
Yeah.
creating more pleasure for you in like, a particular aspect of your life.
Right.
So the first thing I tend to think about a lot is like, what's this idea doing and who is it doing it for? Right? I can have a thought about something, but if I'm able to put it within somebody's context and make it useful to them, it doesn't work. So for example, the business I'm building currently is a communication company, primarily.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's called Oxegene.
I like the merch.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And essentially what the business does is communication solutions, right? So that was the idea. The idea was, over the next 5 to 10 years, the world will change so much. But the thing that won't change? Communication. Businesses, human beings still need to talk to each other. Businesses, no matter what they are doing, still need the ability to be able to communicate what they are doing to the right audience. The technology and the medium can change. But that one enduring thing is going to be there forever. Okay, cool. If that is the case, how do we position ourselves so that we can solve those kinds of problems and be relevant for a long time to come? Right? That is very different from I want to build an agency, which most people will call us, right? But the way we think about it is, what is the problem? What is the domain? And what are our thoughts around that particular thing? So when you have that, you have what I call a hypothesis. Now you have to go and test it, right? So I think businesses need communication. Do they actually need communication, or am I just thinking about that in my head?
Right.
So the next thing when I have a hypothesis is put it to the test. Go talk to the people whom you think the idea pertains to. And that's one of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make. They have an idea, and then the next thing they're building something. They've done the logo, they've done the website, they've launched the merch.
Spoken to no target
They
audience.
haven't had a single
There's
conversation.
no research, their niche to target, nothing.
Nope. Bro, it's crazy. Like, people be out here setting up Instagram pages calling themselves entrepreneur. And I'm like,
That's just how they begin.
and I'm like, who's...
They go you,
Just
They go shots fired for the back there.
Yeah, because
Just update and create
at the end of the day,
page.
a business is an entity that exists to solve a problem in exchange for money,
Yeah.
right? So until you're making money, you're not a business.
Yeah.
So you should
Yeah.
sell the efficiency or the,
Yeah, you need to. So when you have a hypothesis, you need to go and find out who cares about this. Like, does anybody even care about this thing or am I just thinking? Because here's the thing. The problem you want to solve is not the problem people have.
Right.
You might think that, and that's a mistake a lot of entrepreneurs make. You might think that, me, I don't like this thing. Therefore, everybody else must not like it. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. So when you have a thought of, I think this might be cool, the next thing you do in that process of how do you go for idea to a product or a business is go and talk to someone. It doesn't have to be a complex conversation.
Yeah.
Go like, hey, so like in our case, for example, I just hit a bunch of people up in my network, and I'm like, look, we think communication is a problem for businesses at this level. Like, is that your experience? Like, do you think? And they were like, yeah, we think so. I was like, okay, tell me more. Like, what happened? When was the last time you had to do something around communication, and like, what was the process like? And then you get stories, right? And I've had multiple of those conversations in different industries: finance, law, education,
Health.
We've not done anything in health yet.
Wow.
Because health is, and I saw the last episode, health is a very tricky space, right? Because when it comes to communication, health, it's just a whole, there are so many
Different
rules, so
ball
many
game.
guidelines,
Right.
But I went on to spoke to people, and then through that conversation, we got some feedback that made us know that, oh, maybe this is a problem.
Right.
Maybe businesses at a certain level have problems that, we need to solve for them. So at this point, I've validated the idea. I had a thought, had a conversation with a few people, and oftentimes it doesn't work as straight. For me, I think it worked that way because I've been in the industry for almost a decade.
Right.
So when I'm guessing, my guess is pretty accurate because
Right.
of the things that I do. But for somebody who's trying to start something new that they don't have any experience in,
Yeah.
they might need to have a lot of conversation. And then during the conversation, somebody will tell you that, oh, no, that's not the problem. But I think this is the problem instead. And that is, I think, the most crucial step in going from
research.
market research. Like, go talk to your customers, go talk to your potential customers, find out, do you have this problem? If not, what other problems do you have, right? And then from there, try to sell one person. Like, that one, everybody falls prey to it. Just get one client. Get one person. Get a prototype. Because when you have
product,
just test it out. Because when you have this, when everybody has these ideas, we think because we think like we've envisioned it in a certain way, that's how it's supposed to work.
Just start
right?
thinking scalability. How?
Yeah, no, like get your direction first, then you can grow, right? So my thing is, have a hypothesis, talk to customers, learn what the real problem is, and you need to be open to pivoting. And this is another key thing about building businesses. It's not about you. I have a test that I do when I do coaching, right? And everybody watching this can do it. Think about 5 things you spent money on in the last 7 days. Could be anything, right? I'm going to give you some time. Think about it. Okay. Out of those 5 things, which one of them did you buy because you liked the person selling it? I can guarantee none. Every single one of those things you bought to solve your problem. Not what the business owner is saying, not what the marketing is saying, none of that stuff. You had a problem and you're like, oh, this thing will help me solve the problem. So when you reverse the tables, your business is not about you. Your business or your idea, like whatever it is you're trying to build, unless it's a hobby that you want to do to feel cool, post on social media, like fine. But if it's something you want to turn into an entity that makes money and generate profit, it's always about the customer.
Yeah.
Right.
The convenience you are selling.
Yeah. It could be convenience, it could be ease, it could be happiness, it could be joy, whatever it is. So your job is to be able to go like, what do you really need? And how can I solve it for you? And after you've had that conversation, do it for one person and collect money. Collecting money is important.
Very necessary.
People will take free things.
Yeah.
But you don't have a business. Because it's when somebody has to pay for something that you truly know whether it's a need or not. So until money is involved, everybody wants what you have.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm sure people have experienced this. I'm starting a business. You hit up all your friends. Yeah, dope idea.
Money come inside, no.
You go launch out.
You'll
Money
be
come
paid
inside.
in dope ideas.
Bro, as soon as you start talking about money, everybody goes quiet.
Yeah.
So that journey of like getting to a real business or a real product or whatever is like, go like, okay, if I were to do this thing for you for 20 cities, will you pay for it? 50, 100, 200, 500? Until you're able to get that, you keep iterating until you find a thing that people are like, yeah, I'll pay you 50 cities for this. Because that's the point where the solution you're providing is more tangible than the money they have. So they're willing to trade it. Right? It's more important to them than keep holding on to their 50 cities. So again, from the top, have a hypothesis, an idea, go talk to the people who will be the beneficiaries of that solution. If what you are thinking about is true and they agree with you, proceed. If not, keep iterating until you find something that the people you're talking to might be interested in, and then try to close the first client. Do the prototype, do the first test. Then from there we can talk about everything else. But like those 3 steps alone, I think it will help a lot of people if they just did that.
Right.
And with
on.
with the processes you've mentioned, have you used any tech that sort of enhanced the procedure in any way?
Yes and no. So we need to define what technology is, right? I use LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn is technology, right? I use email. Email is technology. Right? Social media is technology, right? So in that sense, yes, I've used technology. Now, when it comes to say doing market research, there are more specific advanced tools that are designed for market research. But for the average person watching this video, all they need is WhatsApp, which is a technology, LinkedIn, which is a technology, email, which is a technology, Instagram, that's a technology, phone calls are a technology, right? So they are specialized tools, but it will be like giving a Ferrari to a child. Like they will wreck it, and it will wreck them, right? So for most people, I just recommend like one-on-one conversations. Just hit somebody up, put it on WhatsApp status, send somebody a DM on LinkedIn, send some emails, so in that sense, yes, I'm using technology, but nothing specialized. Although for bigger businesses, there are specialized technologies that allow you to send out a survey to a large group of people.
Okay.
So if you take something like Unilever, for example, if they want to do market research, there are businesses that does market research for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they will send out surveys and you get a link and you go fill a form, and then they take all that data and analyze it in real time on the back end. That will give them insights, right?
True.
But I think for small businesses, your sample space should be like 10, 15 people, and you can do that easily via phone call or WhatsApp message, or just like an email, or just going face to
Everyone
face
should
and asking
at
people.
least have 20 people in their network. So.
Yeah, at least.
That's true.
Yeah.
At
so-
least.
That's true. I want to talk about crowdfunding.
Okay.
I have a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Shark Tank.
Yeah. Fun fact: I hardly watch Shark Tank.
I've seen a few episodes, though.
So what I do is I watch it when I'm, say when I'm eating.
Mhm.
So I just
Yeah,
Yeah.
put it up. That's
when
like
I'm
your,
eating.
yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And you find people that are coming to ask for investment for their businesses,
Mhm.
and they did a crowdfunding round on Kickstarter and other platforms.
Mhm.
How can we tap into the crowdfunding space, and do we really have those facilities available to us?
To the best of my knowledge, I don't think we have formalized crowdfunding initiatives here.
Well, first of all, if you can just
What
say
crowdfunding
for,
is,
for people who don't really understand what crowdfunding.
Okay, so crowdfunding is made up of two words: crowd and funding, right? So funding is basically I'm trying to do something
Right.
and I need money to get started,
Mhm.
right? And we can talk about that at length because there are certain businesses that require money to get started. Some
Mhm.
businesses don't.
Yeah.
Most people think every business needs money. It's not true.
Yeah.
But like, that's funding, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then there are different ways you can fund something, right? So one is I could go to an investor, and
Mhm.
investors have multiple categories,
Mhm.
right? So the lowest would be like friends and family, which
Mhm.
is your mom, your pop, somebody that knows you, somebody that believes in you, your former boss.
Mhm.
They give you some money to start your business, right? Then on that level, you go to like angel investors, right? Angel investors are individuals that have significant capital
Mhm.
and they are willing to give that to people who are starting businesses, right? So your mom and your dad or your cousin might give you money because it's you.
Yeah.
But the angel investor, they will like you to a certain degree, but they also want to validate that you have a good idea, you've thought to your business, etc. Then on top of the angel investor, you move to what we call institutional investors. So those would be your private equity firms,
VCs.
your VCs, things like that. Those are bodies that have capital
Mhm.
and their entire goal is to invest that capital so it can grow, right? So that's one way of funding. Now, crowdfunding. Okay, so one more thing. In those types of funding, whoever is giving you the money needs to have enough capital so that if they write a check for you, it's hefty,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? So if an angel investor is like maybe putting like 50, 60,000 cities in your business, yeah, they need to hold.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's more, it's 100,000, 200,000. And when you go to the VC level, it even gets more, right? So those kinds of investments require that one individual is able to put in a significant chunk
Right.
of money. But that's not always feasible. So what's the alternative? Which is where crowdfunding comes in. So crowdfunding basically is like, we've described what funding is, right?
Yeah.
It's like funding from the crowd,
Yeah.
funding from a large group of people.
Of people.
And the thinking there is that if I can get 500,000 people, if I get 100,000 people to give me one city, I have 100,000 cities,
Mhm.
right? As opposed to expecting one person to
To
give
give
me
you all that,
all
amount
that
of
money.
Yeah.
So what crowdfunding does is it allows you to raise funding from people and individuals who believe in your idea
Mhm.
so much so that they're willing to put something small into that. Right? So
For-
they may not have a lot of money,
Yeah.
but then they're willing to put something. And in exchange, they will get something. Sometimes it's actual equity. So like the amount of money you're giving will go to, a certain amount of shares. But oftentimes,
It's a
especially for
product.
like, it's a product, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm making a bag or I'm making a shirt or I'm making a phone case or something, you crowdfund, and then in exchange, when we launch, you get that product first at a discount and maybe some other perks or some benefits.
Mhm.
So that's what crowdfunding is. How do I go to a bunch of people? So if you're like, oh, you don't want to do something, right? So great example. If you're doing like boys like hangout, right? You
Right.
know
Yeah.
NCNC, no contribution, no chop.
Yeah.
That's crowdfunding.
That's crowdfunding.
That's crowdfunding.
That's where
Yeah,
it started.
Right? It's like we need
Yeah.
to do this thing, but we don't have the money. One person can't foot the bill. So how do we get money from all the small people? And everybody will give you the money, but then they have a stake in the
Mhm.
final thing, right? So
Mhm.
that's at the basic level. That's what crowdfunding is.
Right.
Yeah.
In Ghana, do we have formalized systems of crowdfunding here? I do not think so. We have international systems that we have access to. So GoFundMe is a popular one. So you've seen,
Yeah.
oh, Amma is sick. Amma needs $80,000 to go do surgery
Then
you know,
it's on
go to GoFundMe,
Yeah.
right? So GoFundMe tend to be the source for more charity style things.
Yeah.
And they have Kickstarter that's for like launching like products, right?
Yeah.
So there are a bunch of them, but those are the two most popular ones that I know of, right? We don't have it here because I don't know the reason, but if I'm guessing, it would be that crowdfunding is a trust-based system,
Yeah.
right? So you have a middleman that's collecting money from a lot of people,
Right.
and then it's distributing that money to somebody, right? You need to trust that entity. Now, legally, it's a financial institution. Setting up financial institutions in Ghana is a pain in the behind to get right. Right? About getting a license is hugely problematic for Bank of Ghana. And I've worked in some financial companies before, and I still consult with some of them. So it's really, really difficult, and it's expensive to set up any standing financial institution. Now, the question is, if I'm going to pay, I don't remember, but like, is it 2 million, 5 million? If I'm going to pay between 2 million to 5 million cedis for a license, how much money am I going to make as a business? Right?
Yeah.
So in Ghana, the reason why I feel like crowdfunding isn't at that level yet, so it's just because the business doesn't make sense. Because if I launch a crowd fund, how these people make money is they make a percentage of whatever the donation is. So if you donate a certain amount, I don't think all that amount goes directly to the person who's doing the crowd fund. Kickstarter will take some. That's how they make their money, right? Now, if I pay 5 million cedis, how many projects are going to be started that are large enough for me to make tiny shares of donations that will, that will eventually get to like 5 million cedis.
Right.
So I think that's probably one of the key reasons why we don't have like a lot of big crowdfunding initiatives. But I do think we need it, and we need to figure it out. So right now we have cooperatives, right? So we, like, in our own indigenous ways, we have versions of crowdfunding.
Right.
So right now, like, Susu is like, it's a thing. Our parents did it, and our younger generation is doing it in an interesting way. So if you're on Snapchat, you see all the Susu groups.
Yeah.
What they basically do is everybody comes together, contribute money, and give it to one person, and they go in circles, right? It's a cooperative.
Yeah.
It's a form of crowdfunding.
Loom.
Until they scam you. Until they scam
right?
you.
That is a form of crowdfunding. So I need money to do X. All of you are going to come together to give me that money to deploy that capital to solve my problem. But I don't need to have that money at once. I don't need it from one person.
Yeah.
As long as I stay in the system, I can get that benefit and then keep it going. So for me, that's the closest blueprint we have for how crowdfunding could work in our society. But enforcing it and the trust and the policy and the systems around that can be pretty challenging, right? So for me, it's not something I've spent so much time on, but from the little I've seen, I do think we need to figure out how best to crowdfund. Because when it comes to like a financial wealth and financial independence creation standpoint, you have a lot of young people right now that could spare an extra 150 cedis, right? Let's even say a month. Now, instead of that money sitting in the bank account, could we find trusted people that are trying to build businesses, and each of this 100, maybe 1,000 of those people put 150 cedis, that's 15,000, I think, towards that person's business, and in exchange they get some dividend, right? But there has to be a middle person who takes that responsibility on themselves to figure out what we call the business model, to figure out the amount of people we need to contribute to what amount to get what result, and to figure out how to vet the kind of businesses that are going to receive the capital, and how do we keep them accountable. Like, there's a lot of things that goes into figuring out the crowdfunding system. So I don't think the market is big enough. I may be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but I don't think the market is big enough for anybody to take a head on, which is probably why we don't have it. But I think it's necessary.
Of the top of your mind, what would you say would be like a perfect roadmap to get something like that started?
Is it a platform? Is it trying the blockchain we keep hearing, like having a non centralized, like having a decentralized?
What do you think? What kind of technology
do you think
would make it
work in our
so
side
okay,
of the world?
let me take this conversation in a different direction. I think technology is an enabler, it's not a solution.
Okay.
A lot of people think of technology as like, oh, if I have a problem, I want to solve it, let me build a tech. Technology is basically a set of systems and rules and policy that are chained together that work really, really fast. So let me give you an example. You want to get an Uber ride, right?
Yeah.
Here's what happens. You open your app, right? You give Uber permission to take your location. That's one action. You now put in your location, your destination. That's two actions, right? Now, Uber now goes like, okay, Tia is going to all the different places. How many drivers do we have who are already heading in that direction, or who says they are close, right? So then Uber does that search and go like, okay, there are 4 drivers. All right, cool. Let's connect Tia to like those 4 people. Now, before you even get to that point, Uber has to go find all those drivers and put them on their platform so that when you finally hit that request, they can now send the information, right? So let's say you find a driver, right? Uber is going to tell the driver, Tia is here, go to him, right? So the driver comes to you. Driver comes to you, you start the ride, right? Now, I could do all this with a lot of people sitting in a room with an Excel sheet and phone calls. Just that it won't be as efficient or as fast. So the real solution is not the app. The real solution is the set of systems and policies and thinking and flows that it takes to get your location, get the drivers, gather them, send your information to them, help them find you, give you the ride, help you pay, and get you to your destination. That is the solution. So the problem oftentimes when we think about solving, creating solutions is everybody goes to the tech. It's not the tech. So with the cooperative thing you're talking about, we need to figure things out. Okay, number one, what characteristics does a trusted entity who will be the middleman need to have? Do we need to verify them? Do we need to certify them? Could that be a bank so that we are not starting from scratch? So if you take a bank, for example, a bank has a reputation, they have all the licenses, they have all the legal backing, they can be held accountable. So if let's say I would start a crowdfunding thing, I might go to a bank, right? So one of the main sources, and again, if you really think about it, these things already exist. When you bank, do you know what happens? You go put your 500 cedis in a bank, right? What do you think the bank is doing with that money?
They're investing it.
Yeah, they're investing it. So the bank takes your 500 cedis, 500 cedis, 500 cedis. They get 10 million cedis, and then they now go to a fund and give them that 10 million cedis, and then they invest it. It's a form of crowdfunding, but just that it's called a bank. So the base solution is there. So the base solution is we need an institution that's trustworthy. That's all the resources, the licenses, everything. And then we need that institution to then connect the two sides. So they're going to say, okay, we've selected 7 businesses. We've vetted them. We've looked at their books. We've looked at everything they're doing. We think they have potential. Okay. Now, if you're a young person or somebody who has 1,000 cities, 500 cities, 600 cities, and you want to make some extra money, right? Give all that money to us, right? And we would distribute it to these businesses, right? This business come and tell us, okay, they need 20,000. And then we'll go like, okay, you contribute to that business because you like them. That person contributes to the other business because they like it, right? And we will ensure that that business perform the activities that it's supposed to do. And then in return, you get what you're promised. Then we have to think about things like what happens if the business doesn't perform? Are you agreeing that you've lost the money? Because when you donate to a Kickstarter, I don't know how it works right now, but I don't know if they disperse the funds if you don't hit their goal. I don't know how it works. But we need to figure out that policy, right? So the solution is, how do we find an entity that can mediate that? How do we find and vet businesses that could potentially go there? And how do we get people to give us their money so we can deploy? And how do we set a system of rules that can be enforced so that people can confidently put their money into something and know that at the end of the day, they're going to get something in return? That is the thing. When we figure that out, then we can go like, what technology makes sense to help us build this? Maybe we don't trust people, so let's put it on the blockchain. But it's like, okay, is the blockchain accessible? How many people even understand how to use the blockchain? Right. So currently for me, we can figure that thing out, and it can just be a simple mobile app. Because Kickstarter is nothing crazy. Right. So it's about building a trust system. How do we? And it's still going to be centralized. Kickstarter is not decentralized. It is centralized. Just that they are pulling money from a lot of people. But you trust the organization. So the roadmap is we need to figure out what the organization needs to be, what characteristics they need to have, and then we need to go searching. And ideally, somebody has to do the math for them to go like, okay, if we do this for 7 years, it's profitable, so let me go and build it. But as of now, I think it doesn't exist because it's not profitable for anybody. So when you look at the pros and the cons, all the challenges, like, why would I do that, right? So I think the roadmap is like, know that we need it, like find an institution, and let's figure it out. Now, the other thing could be, do we take the indigenous things like this Susu thing we're talking about and build policies around it? Because the Susu thing is a similar thing. One person says, I'm pulling this group together. And that's the person you put your trust in. So they pull everybody, they collect the money, they distribute it. But I know that if you're a pie, I can go and catch that person. So do we take that model and figure out how do we formalize it a little bit? So is it that somebody can go register as a cooperative administrator, and then we have their house location, all their information, and maybe they put some deposit in escrow. Because the reason why you have to buy licenses and things like that is we need to know that if things go sideways, you have the capital to cover the loss.
Right.
Yeah.
So it may be that, anybody at all can apply for being a cooperative person, right? But we need to go like, okay, what's the potential risk? If you have 20 people in your cooperative, what's the minimum amount of money that will be contributed? Maybe it's 20,000. Okay, then you need to put 20,000 down as a deposit as part of your license to run a cooperative. So if it happens that anything goes sideways, we can at least refund everybody in the cooperative their base contribution.
Yeah.
So that gives me more trust, and it gives us a little bit of policy that allows us to go like, okay, maybe we can test this idea out, right? So I think that may actually be like
The best
an
possible
experiment
way
that we
to,
can
you know,
start with,
experiment this, yeah.
right? Or somebody that's like, okay, I'm going to be that trust system, and I'm going to gather money on behalf of like businesses.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a trust-based system. So
Right.
for it to get to like a technology that we actually like put into, systems and policies, we need to figure that out first. And it's like, okay, how do we take all that information, put it in an app, put it here, put it there, put it there. So that's why I think the roadmap is not very much like we can get there in 6 years or like in 7 steps.
Right.
But I think that's the solution, and then the tech comes
The
second.
tech comes in. Okay, so let's say, all right, you're probably now knee deep in operations of your
Mhm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out digital marketing.
Yep.
What are some of the tools you think are readily available and probably cost effective
Mm-hmm.
for startups to employ
Yeah.
and help?
If we don't like any of my answers, the most readily available tool is get out of your house, go to an event.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a small business,
Mm-hmm.
because again,
Get a booth somewhere.
bro, don't even get a booth.
Mm.
Just register for the event. Have a
Okay.
bunch of business cards. Have an elevator pitch. Wear shirts that push your company name on it. That's the marketing you need.
Mm.
Okay, so let's break it down. And I'm pulling everything back to that. Is that
Mhm.
like we tend to default to technology a lot, and
Yeah.
it's always the second thing.
That is very, very true.
Yeah,
People's first thought is have to do it online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we are losing the value of face-to-face marketing.
Interactions.
yeah, and also because online is not as effective as you think it is. Okay, let's break it down.
That is very true.
Yeah, so besides digital marketing, right? So what's the base of marketing? I have something
Mhm.
that wants to get to a bunch of people.
Mm.
I need to go to where the people are, where their attention is, and tell them, hey, look at me, I'm doing this thing, come by. That's basically what marketing is.
Mhm.
Marketing, advertising, the whole yard, right? It's like you have a product or service. How do you create the bridge that gets your attention from potential customers so that they can patronize your product or service? Digital marketing is doing this on so-called digital platforms. So if you're a small business, I'm like, okay, go on Facebook, start an Instagram account. WhatsApp is an incredible digital marketing platform, right? For most small businesses. Now, that is if you're going direct to consumer. So if you're selling something that one person will buy. But if you're selling to businesses, sometimes social, but LinkedIn might be like the best place to go, right? But here's the math. To be able to get enough people to buy your stuff, you need to get a lot of people to see it,
Right.
Yeah.
right? So how do you get a lot of people to see your stuff on Facebook, on Instagram? You can either pay, which we call earned media,
Right.
paid media.
Paid
You're
ads.
paying, or you can earn that by creating enough content that over time you build an audience that would then want to buy stuff from you.
Okay.
You can also do like this is earned media. I'm getting on this podcast, right? You're going to post it, a bunch of people will see it.
Mhm.
People that probably didn't know me before, they're like, oh, who is this guy who's talking? Let me go check him out. I've earned some attention,
Right.
right? So first, you need to get a lot of people. You can either pay or create a lot of content, or you can borrow that, which is where influencer marketing comes in. Now, for the small business owner, the question is, how much time do you really have to do all these different activities? Because you're a 1-man, 2-man shop, 3-man shop. You need to serve your customers. Maybe you're sewing the clothes yourself. Maybe you're making the food yourself. Maybe you're creating the thing. That takes a big chunk of your time. Now, for you to be able to create content consistently online till you get the attention that you need, it takes a lot of effort. And for a lot of businesses, it's just not that feasible. So if you take like 10, 20 businesses, 2 of them are able to do that successfully. The other 18 are just perishing on Instagram. Although they have a page, right? They're not getting enough traction. Now, the only other option is how do you pay? Do you have enough money to pay? Now, paying is also about a volume. It's a volumes game, right?
Mhm.
You pay Instagram, Meta, 100 cities, and then they give you a certain number of views. Then you can go, so this is where the technology part is helpful, right? So I can go into Meta,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this particular one I'll talk about. We'll get back to the solution bit. But if you are trying to run ads on Instagram or Facebook, please hear me out. Do not just hit boost on a post
Yes.
and then give your money to Instagram.
Yes.
You will not get any proper results. The way to do that is to go through Meta, the Meta Business Suite, because what that allows you to do is allows you to target. So I can say that, okay, I want to reach people that are 18 to 25 that went to KNUST, that lives around Teshi or that lives around Spintex.
Yeah.
And Meta will serve my ads to those people
yeah.
specifically. Right, so remember the first conversation we had about knowing who you are serving. That's why it's crucial from the beginning, because when I have that information, I cannot go to a tool like Meta. So to date, Facebook is still like one of the best platforms for like running digital ads and targeting people. But please do not do it from your Instagram account where it says boost, because it just makes a bunch of guesses.
We thought they're all linked. Meta.
Yes, but you can't define.
You can't define the audience.
Your parameters. Do you understand? You need to be able to set.
Yeah.
What you're selling to whom, where, how you want them to receive it.
Once you do tap the boost, does it not create, say, an ad ID where you can then sort of set in those parameters on Meta? Because I know those platforms are linked.
No, so they are linked. But let me explain what happens. So when you hit boost on Instagram, right? Instagram is going to make a guess of who it thinks your post should go to, right? Yeah. So based on your followers, based on your interactions,
based on how you've trained your algorithm,
it's going to make a
you
guess.
Click on and whatnot,
right? But when you go to the Meta Business Suite, what we call the Ad Manager, you now have more what we call more refined targeting, right? So let me see, how can I? Okay, it's like me saying, Ben, please get me some food, right?
Yeah.
If that's all I tell you, you're going to make some guesses.
Yeah,
exactly, because exactly. But if I come and tell you, Ben, please get me rice from that restaurant, you're still getting me food, but it's a different set of instructions.
Yeah.
Right? And I can be the same person that tells Ben, get me some food, and tell Tia, get me rice from this restaurant. So that's what happens. So although Meta, they are all in the same ecosystem, your targeting usually is not done on Instagram, right? So you can run an Instagram ad from your Meta Business Suite, but you have to. That's where you define the targeting. So if you just boost the
even
post,
after you unknowingly hit boost, and then you get this information, you can now edit the parameters.
Not on that particular post. So when you boost something, it's kind of just gone, right? Gone. You can cancel it. It doesn't run forever. So you can just go like, okay, stop that.
Right, now we know.
Yeah. So look, it will take you 20-30 minutes to learn. Just Google how to buy ads on Meta.
Okay.
So when it comes to the people that okay, we have the money to be able to go buy ads for our business, that's one thing you can do. And I know lots of small businesses do that. They boost their posts all the time, right? Yeah. And then they get a lot of attention but don't get any sales because you're not talking to the right person.
Yeah, exactly. Even what the call to action
yeah
be,
yeah
know,
it's
you have to really think about it. And most people don't. So technology right now, those are the most obvious ones. I came across this thing really recently called WhatsApp. I think they've changed the name, but basically it's a platform where you push your ads on it and then they'll help you distribute to some people's WhatsApp statuses. I think that's genius.
That is okay.
That's wild.
Yeah, I haven't dug, I saw them a while ago, 2 years, and they vanished and then they came back again. But I think those are some of the solutions that we need to start thinking about, because WhatsApp is more accessible, it's more trustworthy, and all these different things, right? So I know,
and they have the numbers.
Yeah, they have the
Everyone
numbers.
Everyone is on WhatsApp now.
Yep. So that is if you have the money to pay. Now the next layer of paying is just use influencers, right? Because we said it's about attention. Influencers have all the attention, so you pay them, they go hey, look at this thing, and then people love the influencers. So if they come and say A, they will trust them. But again, it's the exact same thing. You need to pick the right influencer for your product. So there's this idea that I borrowed it from tech, but it's influencer market fit or influencer product fits. Not every single influencer has the audience that you need. So the fact that they are big doesn't mean that they have an audience. If you are selling toothpaste and an influencer has 2 million followers, but their main thing is hair, if they're going to talk about your toothpaste, nobody's going to buy it. So I think the mistake people also make is they think bigger is better, especially when it comes to influencer marketing. It's not.
And these days, your numbers don't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the engagement.
With the way
with
the new algorithm.
It's a creative. Yeah.
Test it to 2 people.
Yeah.
Depending on the reaction, then they'll say, okay, fine. Let's test it to 4 more people.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. Your numbers don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I want us to deviate a little.
Okay.
There's a sudden upsurge of remote work ads.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I know like 4 people that are making crazy money
Mm-hmm.
working remotely.
I know more than 4, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and one of them basically is an assistant for some CEO in the UK.
Yeah.
Balling.
Yeah, she makes £109,000 a year.
Whew.
Yeah,
She
That's
employ me.
right,
That's
right.
some money.
What can you tell us a little bit about what goes into remote working these days?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's changed. The level has changed
What do you mean by the level?
in a sense that it used to just be someone handling someone's scheduling, right? Now it's gone to data management to front end, because now a lot after especially after COVID, when businesses realized they didn't have to pay for rent anymore, you can
they could just
work remotely,
and
it's,
the group would get
especially
on
a
and
bunch
get
of the
it
tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
How, first of all, how is the scape now, and how can people plug into that? What's the best way to plug into remote work? Because we all
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the answer because I want to hop in on one.
So, remote work is big,
yeah,
right? And it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So, a few things you need to understand about remote work, or at least the way it's set up. So, one is just the cost of space and all these different things. But the bigger reason for remote work is the cost of talent, right? So, I'll explain. Let's say your friend that's doing the EA work. They're killing it. They're top of their game. They're doing amazing. If they were to be in the UK, living there, they will cost that CEO 3 times more
Yep.
to be able to do the exact same thing. So for the US-based people, it's something they call offshoring, right? How do you find somebody in a different country that can do the exact same thing to the
For
same
a
level of
fraction of the
quality,
price.
but because of their own context and their condition of living and their economy, they can do it for a fraction of the price. So why COVID escalated that was it was already happening, but there was low trust.
Right.
Yeah.
But when COVID happened, it now created the realization that, oh, we actually don't need people here to work. If that's the case, why don't you just go to a different place where we can find people and just have them
Yeah.
work? And then a bunch of businesses tried it, and
And it
then it
worked
boomed. In the tech space particularly,
Yeah.
there were a few organizations that led that. So in Africa is Andela. Andela was one of the earliest organizations. So what they did was they trained African talent, and then again they were middlemen, sort of. They trained African talent, and then they outsourced that African talent to businesses in the US, right? So what that did was they've trained this person. He's a senior developer. In the US, they have to make 6,000, but in Ghana they can make 2,005. But that 2,005 for them is mad
Big
bank
money.
Yep.
because their last job was paying the 5,000 cities.
Yes.
Right, so
But-
that
and
created.
$6 to 100 cities.
You get it? And you're a millionaire. You should be buying food for all of us. So that created this flywheel. Now, it started from tech, but now it's expanding to other things. So, for example, customer support. There are a bunch of businesses starting now that are setting up customer support shops. It used to be India,
Yeah.
but now we're like, okay, accent, timing, clarity, communication. What are the countries in the world that speak good English? How do we set up customer support shops there so that we can outsource our customer support? So when somebody calls a company in the US for something, it comes to Ghana, right? So that's also another. Executive assistants are also blowing up because again, how do we get now? The thing you need to understand is that this might be new to Africa, but it's not new to like India, Malaysia,
Yeah.
like those parts of the world, right? But yeah, the realization now is that, oh, Africa can also do this. So there's like a lot more demand coming there. So that's the landscape. Now, how do you get into remote work? You need to find what skill is hot. What do people need? Like 3-4 years ago, it was either you were a techie, you were a designer. If you're a designer, a developer, yeah, like you just have to breathe a little bit. You get
And then you're
right.
in it.
But now, because of the tech landscape, those opportunities are getting a little slimmer and not as easily accessible. So they are looking
Right.
for, more and more advanced people. There is like, more qualifications that are necessary, but then they are still there. And then you have organizations like ALX that are literally on a mission to train and deploy Africa talent. That's their business.
Mhm.
So they have courses, very cheap. It's like $90 or something. I don't think it's that expensive, or $9. I don't know, but it's really affordable. You take those courses. Now, I don't know how the back end works, but they're getting a lot of data. So what they now do is that we've trained all these people. We can now outsource the best of the bunch to companies outside who wants African talent to work with them. So you can go at it by yourself, which is try to learn, try to read, try to apply, which can be very it takes a long time. Or you can find organizations like ALX. I know there are a few other smaller ones who are doing these trainings, enroll, and then you kind of get into their system, and then they will send you job offers. They'll place things with you, but it's like finding any job. You need to have the right skill sets and you need to hustle. And if you're going to get a remote job, you have to be comfortable living on the internet, because that's where the opportunities are. So you need to learn how to interact on these platforms. Like my former agency that was focused primarily on tech companies, it was tech companies in New York. That's all we did. So all our clients were in New York. We served them. All the team was here. In fact, it was so cost effective that one of our clients, who was Ghanaian, after he worked with us, he set up an office here, because he just saw the benefits of how large a team we had and how much it cost him to do a full project if he's doing it in New York. And it's like, so he has an office here that has developers, designers, customer support people, but the business is in New York. Right. So that's kind of the landscape. So there's opportunity. It will keep growing. Tech is a little hard right now, but other places are opening up. Writers, executive assistants, customer support people. If you want to get in, you need to be able to live online, learn to, how to search for the right things. Another easier part is join organizations like ALX that are training people for this purpose, so you get a pipeline to allow you to outsource. But it is a dream if you're able to land a remote job. Also, there are more direct platforms like Fiverr. So Fiverr, Upwork.
Yeah, Fiverr, Upwork.
I can't remember the rest.
There's another one I saw.
Indeed, yes. Indeed is a little more advanced because they require CVs. But and I know there are some specifically for filmmakers. So there are also those platforms where you can go and list and go hey, this is what I do. Here is a sample of my work, and then people come and search and they find you, they hire you. But it requires a bunch of hustle, right?
So how can someone who's how can a startup make good use of remote work? For instance, use platforms like Fiverr to help.
Yeah, so if you're a startup, just go list as a provider on Fiverr, right? So if I'm a startup, for example, let's say I do design services, I'm just going to list myself as a design service provider on Fiverr. And when somebody searches for design services, I'm going to come up. Right now, it's a much lengthier process. So go to YouTube, how to set up a Fiverr profile. That'll be the first thing, and just follow the steps. And then there are things I may ask, and follow a few people. There are people who create content specifically for Fiverr. Yeah. So follow them. It might take you 6 months, but just do as many of the things they say.
Fiverr, Fiverr.
Yeah. And then there's also Upwork. So how you can benefit is just list yourself as a service provider on those platforms. But if you're also a hustler, so this is how I do it. I live on LinkedIn, literally.
Okay.
People live on Instagram. Me, I live on LinkedIn. And then I create content on LinkedIn that shows that I know my stuff. Then I connect with founders, business owners, C-level executives. But that is a much higher level game. You need to engage at a certain level, right? So I do that for a while, and then I'll stalk them. By stalk them, I mean follow them around the internet, look at their business pages, etc. And if I feel there's an opportunity, we'll send a proposal. We'll send a pitch. Go hey, my name is Eldad. I've been following your stuff for X amount of time. I really love the work that you're doing. It's incredible. And I'll be specific, right? It's incredible. You're trying to help X people do Y. When I was looking around, I did realize there's an opportunity to improve X, Y, Z. And we do believe in showing rather than telling. So the team got together, put a proposal together for how we could solve this problem. Do you want to take a look? 2 out of 10 times you get a response. 1 out of 10 times you might get a deal, right? So that's very high level sales business development. But for lower touch things, it's just get on Fiverr, get on Upwork, find as many platforms as possible to list your service and your business so that when people are searching for you, they can discover you. So it's a game of discovery, right? How do you get found so that you get deals? So for Fiverr and things like that, that's how we use it. And individuals can also make bank on Fiverr. Just that it takes some level of discipline. It's not the problem is the fact that you've created an account doesn't mean you're going to be found. Yeah, that's true. Right? So it's also a bit of a luck game. and it's also about timing the market. Like there are times where certain things are just in demand. So if you're doing that thing, cocoa season, right? You go chop. So it's about figuring out like
The
all those
season
things.
and
Yeah,
all of
the
that.
season and what the product is and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
That's good.
Okay, so if you're a startup, how do you use platforms like Fiverr to help you? Use it to find people that can do jobs. So, for example, I was with a client a couple of weeks back, and they had a data entry issue, right? So they had to enter a bunch of data. It was going to take them a lot of time. So they went on Fiverr, found somebody that could write them a Python script that would allow them to like easily put that data. I think they paid $150, but then it saved them like 3-4 days of work. So
Yeah.
the thing with Fiverr is like there are people that can do anything. I have a friend who used to use Fiverr to get his music mixed. He's a singer, so he will record the song, but then go on Fiverr, find somebody who can
I've done
mix.
some work on Fiverr.
Exactly, right. So
We've
I
done
think
it- done works everywhere.
yeah. So I think it's almost like a large talent pool that you can hire people from,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you know what you're looking for, so you go there, you put in, the specific thing you're looking for. People will pop up, and then you can engage with them and eventually hire them to do your work. Now again, it's a cost issue. So because if you're in Ghana, you're going to be paying this for USD. That's
Yeah.
a denominated currency. So you need to have the capital to be able to do
To be
that.
able to do that.
So that, but yeah, if
But
you have the capital,
Would you advise, say, an entrepreneur who's starting a startup to say, considering the cost of renting a space and like maintaining that space and bringing people there and transportation costs and everything, that they can in some way
Mhm.
make their entire business sort of remote, right? So that their startup it's basically remote in its essence.
on paper, that's a great theory.
Mm.
In practice, it doesn't always work.
Always.
Not always. Sometimes it does. So,
Sometimes
for
it does.
example, my company is fully remote.
Okay.
Mhm.
We don't have an office. Like, we have office spaces that we have access to that we use for meetings, team days, but team is fully remote. Everybody works from home, right? So,
Yeah.
on paper, it is possible to do that.
So what makes it work for you?
So, it depends on the kind of business you're doing.
Okay.
One, certain businesses are more prone to having remote teams than others. So if you're doing what we call knowledge work, so we are in the communication space. So I'm working with designers, developers, animators, illustrators. They don't need to be in the same space for me to deliver, right? So if
Yeah.
you're working with developers and people like that, yes, your graphic designer can be from Fiverr. I just spoke about buying ads, right? The person buying your ad can be from Fiverr. There are people who, who are ad buyers. They can do that for you. You find them on Fiverr, you pay them. So you can build some parts of your operation like that. But for a lot of businesses, there is still the need to have people in a space, especially when you're getting started. In this continent, I'm not saying anywhere else. In the US, in the West, because teams do that all the time in the US. So like they want to start a business, they're going to hire a team in Malaysia to build the whole thing, right? So they're not even going to like touch any code. This guy has an idea, he has $20,000. He's going to find a team in Malaysia or Ukraine or wherever. So I actually know some business in Ghana that have done that. I've consulted for like 3 businesses who outsource their entire product development to Ukraine. So
Okay.
design, development, everything. But after the first round of development, they still had to build a team. Because when you get past that initial like idea, the maintenance, the continuous work,
Yeah.
the turnaround time has to be very, very fast.
Right.
So it's easier for you to be in a room with people and go like, Charlie, we could change that, or this client's get problem.
Okay.
If you're building a fully remote team, the issue is time zone. Somebody there Ukraine, they bed, yawa pie. Like now you're
Yeah.
waiting for customer support, right? So I think for a certain level of task and for one of things and for helping you move faster, you can actually like leverage some of these tools. But to build your entire business on that, I'm yet to see somebody that has people will outsource parts of their businesses, but
Yeah,
like
but
not
not
like fully build like a business that's like, I'm just going to hire a group of people. Because another thing about building a business is like when you outsource at that level, people don't really care about your business like that. They just want their money for the task. So you also have to be somebody who's great at coordinating.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a lot of headache trying to coordinate 7 people that are not talking to each other, that are not part of your company to do one thing. As opposed to having a company of 7 people that know each other, that understand what you're trying to
and
build.
there's some form of rapport even.
Exactly. So on paper, it is possible to, just hire out to Fiverr. But in terms of your efficiency and your productivity, it's going to be problematic.
Especially with trying to stick to like your vision.
Yeah, the
vision
vision of what you're
of-
trying to
of-
build.
Exactly, because if you have a team, then you know there's consistency in the kind of work you churn out.
Yeah,
There's a theme to it.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And another thing is we've used the word startup in this entire conversation. I just kind of want to define that a little bit and like what we consider a startup.
Yes.
There are startups on multiple levels, but
Mhm.
basically when you use the word startup, we're talking about a business that like doesn't have what we call going concern, right? They are not at the growth phase. They've not figured out their product. They've not hit certain revenues. They are not looking at scale. They are still trying to get off the ground. But there is zero Ghana cedis trying to get off the ground, and the guy that has raised 2 million trying to get off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They are not the
They're
same.
not the same at all.
Usually when I'm talking to the person with zero cedis trying to get off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Because for them, their realities of they don't even have the capital to start. So
Right.
how are you going to find somebody to fire for $20? That $20 is like how much? I don't know. I don't know what it's.
$6 is 100.
It's 100 cities, like 18,800. It's almost like 2K, right?
Almost 100 cities.
Right? Like how are you going to find? So for me, like especially with startups in Ghana, most of those people, that's why I started by get out of your house, go to events, go hang out at cafes, meet people, talk to people.
Network.
You can find the resources that you need here to be able to do things here, if only you will be more open to finding people here and be optimistic. Because another thing also is we've already concluded that Ghanaians, they can't do business with Ghanaians. You can't partner with, like, so most of us aren't looking within our networks to find the help we need. Everybody's looking out. If you have money, okay, and you can afford to spend money, by all means, leverage these tools. Go on Fiverr, go on Upwork, go on LinkedIn, go on wherever, and find the talent you need. Chances are if you're a Ghanaian business and Ghanaian startup, that'll be harder to do because of FX, right? The money we pay one person can have 5 people. So you need to be smart about how you solve those problems. And a big part for me is getting out of your house. Because see, if you want to build a business in Ghana, online doesn't work as much as people think it does. I have a great online presence on LinkedIn, but most of my business come from handshakes. What online does for me is when I go and meet people, I'm not a stranger because they've already seen my face. They know my stuff. That's the part it plays in my business development. What online does for me is when I meet somebody that could be a potential collaborator or like, a designer or somebody on my team, they're already familiar with my work and they've seen the stuff we do and they may have even been excited about it.
To it.
Exactly. So I think a lot of people starting businesses, like we are so caught up in this online world that we don't understand that there is also avenues that allows us to go meet people, shake hands, build rapport, build relationships, and then be able to sell, right? So that's just like a little caveat on startups, online business, offline business.
Jam is saying
we've gone over the time. Don't worry, they watch it all.
Yeah, you watch it. Very, very, very important question before we leave, because I started off the show with that in my intro. Business registration process.
Yeah.
What do you think? Cumbersome or not? How can we?
Cumbersome, ineffective, absolute headache. How can we need a coup d'etat at that department? I mean, I'm joking, but so here's the thing: they've built a platform that's supposed to allow you to do that. The platform doesn't work. So
I didn't even know about the platform.
There's supposed to be a portal that you're able to go and register a business. It doesn't work. You don't get feedback on time. So at the end of the day,
You still have to go.
you still have to go there,
queue.
right? And even look, it's the same with passport applications, all these different things. We need leaders in those spaces that actually care about the efficiency of the system instead of the little money.
They
'Cause
would make.
The broken system pays a lot of people. Business registration, you could do it for 500 cedis, you could do it for 2,005. 500 cedis if you go through the usual process. I don't even know how much it costs, but something like that. Fill the form, get a thing done, right? But it will take you forever, you're not getting your certificate. So you pay somebody 2,005, and then they'll share it. That's a chain, right?
Yeah.
Pay to somebody, right? Now, why would those people ever let that system work? Because they're not incentivized to.
Right.
If that system works, they're losing the extra money they're making from that job. So I think that's a problem with this system. So the registration process, if you just want to go through it normally, it's cumbersome. Now, if you have a guy and you have money to pay, you get your thing in like 7 days, right? But that's the whole issue with Ghana. So I think the process is cumbersome, and we really need to like have a leader in that space who cares about it enough to be able to go like, okay, we need to enforce this. So it's not like the tech is not there. It's not like it's not possible. They've created a tech, but it's just not efficient. It's not working, right? So yeah, it's cumbersome.
Final words.
For people that are looking to build businesses, especially my tech people, we should look to build businesses that solve the problems we have here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's stop chasing, want to build another Facebook. We don't need another Facebook. Like, that's my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are not concerned about solving real problems. We are concerned with looking like we are solving problems. But I think there are real problems here that can be solved. And when they are solved properly, you will make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Like, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur listening to this, watching this, I want you to be obsessed about solving the problem for the 20 people in your community, for the 100 people in your community. Figure out something that you can do for them, that you can charge them for, and they will pay you in return. Right? And number 2, leaving the country is not the solution we all think it is. Just want to put this out there. Because now it's become the narrative for every young person. Oh, you
Yeah.
have to get...
You
I have
to
a whole...
japa.
But look, there's a small percentage of people that are able to leave and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
A good number of us need to figure out how to make it here.
Mm.
And if we've already given up on the prospect of figuring out solutions here, then you're not even trying. You're just waiting for the day where you finally get to jackpot. But it won't come. So, like,
You say it that with so much certainty.
no, just because I've seen too many people
Try
while
to,
I wait time and not figure their lives out whilst they are waiting for the opportunity to come.
Mm.
But I still think there are people in this country who are making hundreds of thousands of CDs doing the most mundane things. We have a lady that brings us groceries at the house. We've been using her for 2 years. She makes stupid money from us. Because my wife and I are busy. We're not going to go out groceries. Like, there are real problems. I know people with barber shops who make...
Mhm.
But it's not cool when we don't do it, right? Like,
Mm.
everyone is looking for the... So for me, my thing
They're
is like,
nice fit.
solve real problems for real people, make money, and then learn how to grow it, right? We
Yeah.
should stop chasing these big business dreams and wanting... Like, I'm a big dreamer, but we need to be practical, right? So leaving the country is not a problem. It's not a solution that we think it is. And if you want to start a business, find a real problem that somebody has, solve it, and get paid for it, and then grow that, right? Don't sit in this chamber of yours and try to like conjure up something that you think is cool. And if nobody buys, you go like, "Oh, Ghana doesn't work." You suck at your job. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh man, yeah, Jam Jam is going to kill us because he has to sit and edit this.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, we're okay, right? We're okay. Charlie, final words.
Everything he said is like recorded, is noted down.
Mm.
Because I'm into startup myself. Like I'm talking to a few friends, and I will utilize what you've taught me a lot. So
Absolutely.
I
glad you
really
could make it to
appreciate
the show.
I really appreciate the fact that you pointed out people and businesses are very technology dependent
Mhm.
without actually trying to figure out exactly how to optimize the problem without it,
Yeah,
it,
well,
should, it should
making
be
it be the
yeah it
this-
should help
This is
but
here to
not
solve
be
the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There are very
exactly.
few cases where tech is the solution.
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. Appreciate you so much. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know what you think about the conversation. If you have any questions, please ask us. We'll try our best to answer them. All right, this is Enabled by Tech. My name is Tia. Always here with the man.
Bernard.
We're out. Peace.